So hello everyone, welcome to another video. This time we have a very successful trader from Darwinex. So we have Kevin, and Kevin has the ticker
Hello.
which is HKVK on Darwinex, zero if you want to check him out. He had a 13.4% return so far with a minus 4.75% drawdown, which is pretty amazing. So hello Kevin, glad to have you
Hello.
on this interview. So I think we can get this started. And for the first question, if you could please tell us a little bit about yourself, your background. So did you maybe study finance at university, or were you interested in finance in high school? So if you can talk a little bit about that.
Great. But first of all, thank you, Marco, for the invitation. I'm really glad to be here and to be able to speak about my index, my Darwinex index, as trading has been my passion now from a lot of years. And during my studies, yes, in high school, we had to choose between three options, the scientific one, the literature one, and the economic one. And I chose the third. It helped me to understand how to read statistics, how to interpret them. And after high school, I chose to do a business school.
Mm-hmm.
But I quit because at the time, in classes, we were only talking about making money, making more money. And it wasn't my philosophy at the time. So I went to another path. I quit it in the second year, and then I started another career into the university. So at university, I made a double study, law and political science.
Okay.
So the law one showed me how it is important to have clear laws to have a functional and equilibrated society. And without a strong system of laws, you can have a clear one. And the political science one, it helped me to understand more how this society effectively works from the inside and how it is organized and managed. After that, I decided to make a 1 year exchange program in the
Okay.
heart of South America, in Bolivia, La Paz. So it changed my mind from a lot of point of view, cultural, traditional one, historical ones. And when I went back in France, I finished my fifth year making international relations studies.
Cool.
So no, I'm not coming from the economical one, but it was my passion since the third year, fourth year, reading the charts and to see how trading is working.
And so how old are you now?
I'm 33.
33. Okay,
Mhm.
cool, cool, cool. And so, what was your kind of first experience with trading, with really getting on the charts? Can you talk about that a little bit?
Clearly. So when I was into this exchange program, I went to Chile, see one of my best friends who was living there. And directly when I came, he showed me, you have to see this. And he showed me his smartphone with MT4 installed.
Mm-hmm.
And he told to me, you have to do it, you have to try trading. So he showed me this platform, all the indicators he had put on his smartphone, like MACD, RSI, Bollinger Bands, parabolic stars. So he had a lot of colors. It
Yeah.
looked like a Christmas tree. And he told to me, you can make the same setup on your smartphone and we'll compete. Tomorrow, we'll see which one is better than the other. So
Mm-hmm.
I started like this as a game with one of my best friends, and each day we gave us ideas how we thought this will going up, this will going down, and we were trading the Euro USD pair.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so, how long was that ago?
It was in 2018.
2018. Wow,
Uh-huh,
that was
uh-huh.
like a while ago. Yeah, a couple of years
Exactly.
ago.
Uh-huh,
Nice.
in November. Mhm.
Nice. And so you currently have a very powerful edge, as we can see in your Darwinex index. You have a really good return to drawdown ratio, even like much better than mine. So, like a key thing that a lot of investors like to look at is the return to drawdown ratio. And
Mhm.
if it's above like a 2 or a 2.5, that's a really good number. So, how did you discover your current trading edge? Because I don't think you're trading the same thing that you learned, what is it, 7 or 8 years ago.
Exactly. It was a really, really long way.
Uh-huh.
So when I ended up going back to France, I started trading on the smartphone, on the MT4 platform,
Yeah.
and putting some real money. And that was always the same pattern. I put my money, I am gambling, we can say that. I'm making a good amount of money, and 1 week or 2 weeks later, I'm giving it back to the market. So I had a huge problem with revenge trading. I couldn't accept losing. And I was making this for a long while, like 2 years. I remember specifically during the COVID period, shorting the WTI, the oil,
Yeah.
all day long. And I was amazed to see blue, blue, blue. And I was going out from my position, shorting again, seeing blue, shorting again. And I remember this day that as one of the best days I had, but it didn't last. So every time
Mm-hmm.
I've made money, I lost it. And my current age, I discovered it by 2022, going back to a trip in South America. And I was alone by myself, always studying the graphics, always looking at the charts. And I bought an expert advisor, a robot from a Telegram guru, we can say that.
Okay. Okay. Mm.
And so I bought his expert advisors. And of course, this guy was only showing the good results
Yeah.
into
Yeah.
his
Yeah.
channel. Yeah. And we had a personal group where everyone which has bought the robots could talk. No one was making money.
Yeah.
Some of them could optimize for a few days, and this guru posted these results to his channel. So I bought a very expensive robot, which didn't work, and I tried to optimize it no matter what. So there are the flaws. It doesn't work in this type of environment. So I would put this security. Let's see
Mm-hmm.
how far it goes when I put this security. And when I saw that in this environment it didn't work, I added some module. And we have the luck to have the MQL5 library.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a library of Lego for expert advisors. So you can find whatever you need on this library. And I began to make a constructions of Legos of expert advisors. But still, it couldn't work more than 1 month or 2 months, no matter how many securities I put.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm. So when I went back to France, I said to myself, well, this isn't working. Let's just do the reverse. Let's just do the opposite. I've tried everything I could, and if it
Okay.
doesn't work, let's just twist it, twist our mind. And we
Yeah.
always say that we have to think outside the box. And I thought to myself, let's go, let's do it. So each day at the opening of the New York session, it's 15:30 in France, I was opening this expert advisor, doing the reverse, and I ended up having good results. But along the way, you always have setbacks. So it worked for a time. And when I didn't have enough volatility, it
Mm-hmm.
didn't work. So I
Yeah.
still had this
Yeah.
equity curve and boom.
Yeah. And sorry, on
So
which assets was that? Was it
it
like on
was on the Dow
currency or
Jones,
sorry?
on the Dow Jones.
Ah, on the US 30.
Exactly.
Ah, okay, cool, cool, cool. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So when my equity curve went back down, I went back to manual trading, and I saw that I have a huge psychological flaw that I can't manage the loss. So I told to myself, okay, you're good at trading, you're good at technical analysis, you can read the charts, you can understand them. And when you launch a position, most of the time you had a good analysis, but you can't manage losses. I
Yeah.
was unable to manage losses. I wanted to win each time. So my flow is revenge trading. And I told to myself, okay, how can I improve that? I'm good at trading. I have bad psychology. What if we replace the psychology side with a machine, with a robot, which won't have this psychological bias and won't have the same decision as me? And that's when I discovered my edge. So I will put my knowledge in technicals, but have the execution made by a machine and not by me. So if I go out, that won't be my decision.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And so basically, your main edge, as far as I understood, is watching those expert advisors and doing the
Mhm.
exact opposite of what they are doing.
Exactly. That's called the fail to gain strategy.
Mm-hmm. And is it still on the US 30, or have you implemented also multiple assets by now?
I'm only focused 200% on the Dow Jones, the US 30.
Ah, okay, cool.
I know it could work on the Nasdaq, probably on gold, because this
Yeah.
strategy needs volatility. And the only
Mm-hmm.
assets which has as much volatility as the Dow Jones, the US 30, could be the Bitcoin. But in a day, the assets, the indices, which will give you more points, is the Dow Jones because it's around 40,000 points, and
Mm-hmm.
not the SP 500 or the Nasdaq have this many points. So when all these three are moving from 1%, we'll have more points to get on the Dow Jones.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, that's very interesting. Yeah, Bitcoin is very volatile, especially lately with the massive uptrend that we had, like the
Mhm.
massive bull
The
run
Trump
in.
trade,
Uh, Sorry?
the Trump trades we had after the
Yeah,
election,
yeah,
once Trump was
yeah,
in place, we saw this parabolic move.
yeah. And so you also shorted oil in 2020, right?
Exactly.
Nice. It went like negative. Were you in that maybe?
No, I ended at like $3, but I was
Uh-huh.
so mad of my day because I remember sitting outside and just clicking short, 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 and I
Yeah.
couldn't realize the amount of money I made this day. So it was like unreal. And after I sat to look at the TV and what they were telling into the news.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's a very cool experience that you had. So my next question is,
Yeah.
well, you kind of answered it, technical or fundamental analysis. It's going to be technical for you. So can you
Hmm.
talk a little bit more about the indicators that you use and how exactly do you read the markets?
Exactly. I would say that, yeah, it's mainly 70% technical and 30% fundamental macroeconomic.
Ah, it is cool. Nice,
Mhm.
nice. Mm-hmm.
Because there will be always a thing you didn't see into the charts. So no matter how many indicators you have, how sharp your analysis is, there will always be a macro environment who will change that. Could be an economical announcement or a speech or a change in political economical politics.
Mm-hmm.
So you
Mm-hmm.
have to be aware too of the macro environment. But the good thing with US 30, with the Dow Jones, is that you have easy, good indicators, which are the two other indices, the SP 500 and the Nasdaq. So when I'm trading, I always have the three charts one by one at
Yep.
the side. And the Nasdaq and the SP 500 give me informations about the timing or a possible reversal. So when I see a possible reversal on the others, I'm starting to build a hedge position just in case if
Mm-hmm.
there is a reversal. And if there is a trend continuation, I will see if the others are pushing too. And so I'm keeping into the trend and trying to ride the wave.
Mm-hmm. 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 Cool. And so,
Mhm.
for the fundamental analysis, do you form a bias in terms of like a risk on or risk off, or do you just look at when massive high impact news is going to happen so that you know to avoid that price action?
What I'm doing almost every day is looking at a French emission, a French podcast
Uh-huh.
made by a man, Alexandre Baradez. He works at IG France, the broker, and each day he makes a macro analysis or a technical analysis
Okay,
of about
cool.
1 hour. So when I start my session, I put the replay on and I'm listening to how his eyes are seeing the markets, how he can analyze a speech of Powell or a macro indicator. So listening
Mm-hmm.
to him, listening to a person who really knows trading, who has formation in it, which master this world, it helped me a lot. So it gave me most of the time my directional bias of the day. Yes.
Ah, cool, cool, cool. Yeah, I do a similar thing. I watched Trader Nick. He does a
Mm-hmm.
video once per day. Usually he has like a macroeconomic analysis, talks about the breaking news, talks about what is happening in the world. And it really helps to get in the zone to know which assets to look at. So for this next part, can you give us like a rough example of a trade idea that you had, maybe recently, maybe a couple of months ago, doesn't matter, but just like a general outline how you form a trade
Mm-hmm.
idea.
Great. So maybe we can share my screen
Sure.
because yesterday I recorded my trading session. So
Mm-hmm.
it ended up with a first trade in loss. And I will show you how I built my second trade. I have here my Nasdaq, and here I have my SP 500. And I saw into my second chart that I have onto my tablet that the Ishimoku indicators could be broke in these two, and that the Dow Jones already began a downside movement. So
Mm-hmm.
when I saw that there was a weakness into the Nasdaq, I kept my idea and I was only reinforcing into the direction of the assets. So here I was only looking for shorts as long as the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq would show some weakness. So
Mm-hmm.
we can see here they are going down, and here I won't go out until I have a clear indication that the trades could reverse.
Mm-hmm.
So here that was more or less my break-even points. If the assets went really higher, I would end up in a loss. But as we can see on the M1 and the M5, they both showing weakness. So I still had my directional bias. And as long as it was the case, I could be in the trade, but unfortunately, it didn't have the necessarily continuation, and I was stopped out. As you can see, I have designed lines. So these are support and resistance. As long as it didn't broke here or here, these are one of the indicators to me to know if I will keep into the position or go out. So this was a loss. This one was a loss. So this is the base of my second trade of the day of yesterday. And
Okay.
this time the Nasdaq is always leading the way. He's always the first to do something, and he's always the 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 furthest from its resistance,
Uh-huh.
its moving
Uh-huh.
average. So he's really strong this time.
So it's
And
the leader.
it's the leader, exactly.
Okay, cool,
At
cool, cool.
the same time, we can see that the S&P was below its close, and the Dow Jones was really below its close, but the Nasdaq already went up and really with a really strong upwards movement.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
we have the same moments in the 30-minute time frame. We can see impulsive candle to the upside, while the Dow Jones was just on resistance. So
Yeah.
this gave me the indication that Nasdaq is the strongest this time. So if we're on resistance and have just a little M30 candle into the US 30, we can begin to build a buy position. So here was the second trade I took in the day, and you can see that I still have these lines showing me the support and resistance level I've seen into the two other assets. And as you can see, the Nasdaq will always go first. So the S&P will wait for the Nasdaq, and the Dow Jones will wait for the S&P because
Ah, interesting. Interesting.
S&P is king, is the biggest index. So nothing moves without the S&P. But this time, the Nasdaq to me leads the way in terms of movements.
Mm-hmm.
So I was trying to put as much buys as I could, and at this very moment, I was in drawdown. But I saw that the NAS and the S&P wanted to go up. So I kept this trading idea and kept adding more buys as long as I was in a winning position. So when they both went up, I kept adding and adding more lots to my Dow Jones position. As you can see at the end of the video, I like to have the bigger picture. So when in doubt, zoom out. That's a good phrase in trading. So I
Mm-hmm.
like to see how the bigger picture is on the other assets. That was my trades, and we had to wait for a breakout of the Nasdaq. So in this moment, I had yet built my position, and for now, I will just make trend following. Most of my orders are past, so I just see if we have an upward movement and if the Nasdaq and the S&P will break their resistance. If it is the case, it's most likely to have a bullish confirmation. So at this point, we were about 80 points from my first entry here, and I had 9 lots opened. And I will continue to build my position as long as I am in gains. But technically, if the Nasdaq or the S&P 500 break with a great push these supports, I know for sure that I will end up in a loss. So we can see we have 400 euros profit. And here are all the positions I have. So what I'm looking is a breakout to the upside. Now I'm like 300 euros with a 10 lots position. Fortunately, I didn't have enough memory to have the whole movement, but I took some screenshots of after.
No worries.
At the moment, yes, I had like 10 lots and waiting for a breakout. But as you can see, there was a strong rebound of the Nasdaq and the S&P. But as always, the Nasdaq has the biggest reaction.
Interesting. And so you got out at the end of the day?
No, unfortunately, I didn't go out because in my strategy, I am waiting for this configuration to make a trend following. And in January, February, or March, I could keep my position 2 or 3 days. I was entering intraday and keeping them intra-week. And since the announcements of tariffs of Trump, that's not possible anymore. We see a lot of V-shapes, a lot of V-bottom, a lot of V-top, and that's almost impossible for me with my strategy, my actual strategy, to keep trades more than a day. So I have this difficulty to change my mind and to tell me now I'm to intraday and I have to take my TP. And at the time, that's where I was beginning to trade my profits with about 15 lots, 10 lots. If we just have 100 points more, I will double my floating profits. If I have 200 points more, which is not so much into the Dow Jones, I have 4,500 euros of profits. But in these moments, we almost always have corrections. So this trade and end up in a loss during the night. But into my strategy in these last months, if we have a breakout here, I will keep this trade for 1 day or 2 days if it's possible.
Interesting. And so you went into the day with a bullish bias, I presume?
Not really. I just every time I am beginning my session, my trading session, I'm looking. I'm just waiting for some sort of setup. And another thing I am making is that I am running an EA, an expert advisor, during the night. So when I wake up, I already have some positions. So when I begin my sessions at 15:30, I just can ride some of this position as others are beginning to build an hedging position. But most of the time, I don't know. I don't really know where I'm going. I'm just reacting, reading the charts. And that's one of the great lessons I had making trading. It's don't try to predict, just react. And we always want the chart to do as we imagine. Okay, I see this beautiful pattern. I'm sure it will go like this or like that. But most of the time, I have better results when I don't know exactly what I'm doing, just going with the flow and trying to ride a big wave.
Yeah. Okay, interesting.
I have an example of my actual account. So I'm trying to have the same setup of yesterday, a bullish breakout of this consolidation pattern. So the Nasdaq is high, but as long as it won't break its resistance, I don't think that the trade will work well. And the S&P is even higher than the Nasdaq. So if one of those two decides to make a bullish breakout, it's most likely that all this position will be a big a big winner. But
Yeah.
I have to wait for the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And my expert advisor will automatically put a sell position here. So when we have a reversal, I can also ride the wave at the reverse, take my stop loss here. But if I can ride here, I will have a bigger profit than all the stop losses from this buy position.
Mm-hmm. 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 Interesting. So this is currently running?
Yes, it's live. It's
Oh, cool. Cool.
one account. I am reversing a lot of bad trades onto. So it's the account where all my merged bad trades are reversed.
Yeah, this reminds me of when I was doing an internship at a prop firm. This is exactly what they were doing. So they were looking for the leader of the pack, and
Mm-hmm.
then they saw the leader moving, and then they traded some like followers. For example, the leader here would be the Nasdaq, and followers would be S&P 500 and the Dow Jones. So you could pretty much get the extra edge by waiting for the leader, which is exactly what you're doing. So that's pretty cool.
That's great that we had the same conclusion.
Yeah. So after covering those trades, which are very interesting, I'm gonna have to look into that. Maybe there's an extra edge for me, even like for catching a leader and a follower. But what is your opinion on backtesting? So to
Mhm.
develop this approach, did you do a lot of backtesting, or was it mostly experience from live trading?
I'm a big fan of forward testing. Really,
Okay.
I like to go live, watch what is happening, and from then take my lesson and going back with this lesson and forward testing. It's much longer than a classical backtesting of expert advisor or robots. Because when you backtest a robot, you can have a great idea of the whole manner it will react. But when you're forward testing, you have to look at the chart. You have to understand why this happened and why it happened this way. So it took me, I think, 2 years and a half or 3 years just watching my robots, watching the reactions, and
Yep.
I had to make little changes. Other persons which are using expert advisors, they will put all the parameters running 100 or 1,000 simulations and tell, okay, this one is interesting. This one is interesting with this indicator. We'll test it
Yeah.
live.
Yeah.
But most of the times I don't have the good entry. So for expert advisor, that's it. And for manual trading, I have another approach. It's really important to backtest.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
can use the trading view uh, to see what's happened to the past. You can see a great setup and plus your stop loss, your take profit, let it run and see if you were right or wrong and why it ended up in a stop loss or in take profit. So I would recommend to any persons which is beginning trading to go back test a lot because when we are live, we have all this emotion and we have to react quickly and there's a lot of parameters. But if you can make 100 trades on paper trading with your own environment, see if you can read the charts better with these indicators, those colors, which indicators fit the best, no indicator on RSI, when moving averages, how do you see your Fibonacci levels, all of this. Will you enter into the 0.5 Fibonacci, the 0.61? That's
Mm-hmm.
great things to see on a chart, and you can make it from backtesting and think it's really important when you're manual trading.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, like a few years ago, or let's say a few months ago, even I was a huge believer in backtesting. But the more I trade and develop my edge, the more I see forward testing is what brings me the most knowledge. Forward
Mm-hmm,
testing is so powerful because in back testing, we tend to find those perfect setups. We tend to lie to ourselves that this was a good trade. I would have taken that. That was a bad trade. I wouldn't have taken that. But in forward testing, it's a real simulation of what you're doing, what you're
mm-hmm,
buying, what you're selling. So I think it's much, much more efficient to 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 forward test and back test at the same time. So I think both things
exactly.
are very powerful. And so, how
Mm-hmm.
many trades do you take per week? I can see that you're scalping sometimes. You're taking
Um,
lots of small positions, which end up being like one huge position.
mhm. I'm taking 70 trades a day, so it makes more or less 500 trades. And into my Darwinex index, I'm approaching the 10,000 trades, and
Hmm.
I'm
Hmm.
losing 70% of the time. So only 30% of my trades are winners.
Ah, okay, okay. And would you say that you place a trade every single day, or do you have days where
Yes,
you? Yes. Okay.
every single day.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because I saw that statistically, sooner or later, you'll have the perfect bottom or the perfect top. So that's
Mm-hmm.
why by night, not by night, but every day at the beginning of the London session, my expert advisor will open a trade without indicator. At 9 a.m., it will open a buy and a sell
Mm-hmm.
if
Mm-hmm.
there is no
Mm-hmm.
position.
Ah,
And
okay.
if it closes in take profits on the main side, on the master account, I will take a stop loss on my slave account, the receiver.
Mm-hmm.
And it will wait for some hours until it opens another trade. And statistically, I have more probabilities to have the perfect bottom. And that's where I had my biggest runners.
Mm-hmm. 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 Okay. Cool. And so let's talk a little bit about Darwinex Zero. What
Mhm.
has been your experience so far? I've seen you have around, I think, 140,000 in allocations in total, not currently, but in total. And did you get any payouts from Darwinex Zero? If you can talk a little bit about that subject.
Yes, exactly. My first payout was last month. We have
Oh,
to wait
awesome.
3 months
Okay.
after the creation of our index. I don't know why it wasn't on April. It was in May. But yes, I can say that I've now earned more money with Darwin X Zero that I had to pay for my inscription. And
Mm-hmm.
it was a couple hundred of euros, like 600 euros.
Awesome.
Uh,
Awesome.
I
Awesome.
was a little disappointed because some days before, if I just stopped and wait for my payout, I was more near from the 1,000 euros.
Uh-huh.
But
Uh-huh.
that's
Uh-huh.
great and that's encouraging because we both know that we're here for the long run.
Yeah.
And Darwinex, we will keep this index for years, hopefully. And it doesn't matter if I win this month or in 3 months. We just have to stay consistent. But yes, for the amount I am managing, I am managing 100,040 euros.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a big payout
Mm-hmm.
because making simulation I could get more, but I'm really happy to be in a great position and between the 8,000 traders that are here.
Awesome, awesome. I had a
Mm.
similar case where I was like in Darwinex Silver. I
Mhm,
was like scheduled to get an allocation at the beginning of the month, but then at the end of the month, I went into a bit of a drawdown and then I lost the spot, you know. But it's a long game. It's a long game. It takes a few months, maybe even a year or two to get some allocations. And to get some investors, it takes even longer than that. But
mhm,
again, prop firms, like they can go down tomorrow. Most of them even won't pay you out if you get a big payout. But that's why I like Darwin X Zero because it really is more safer and it's for like the long term. It's a long term
exactly.
approach, and
Mhm,
like you cannot get a lot of money quickly, but if you stick to it in a few years, you can really attract a lot of allocations and attract a lot of investors. So if any viewers do want to check out Darwin X Zero, there's a link
mhm,
in the description, and you can use my discount code as well. So I highly encourage you guys to sign up. It's the real deal. You get a real profit split, exactly like a hedge fund manager would get, let's say, on Wall Street. So it's not super fake. You're not trading demo money like you're trading with prop firms. It's real money, real investors, and real allocations. And so that is kind of the next subject I want to touch on. I know
mhm,
prop firms are super powerful or super popular right now.
mhm,
I'm using them, you're using them. The focus is kind of to get as much payouts as we can and then run away because you never know when they can shut down your account. But have you had experience with prop firms? Have you gotten any payouts there?
mhm. I will contest this question later. I just wanted to add about Darwin X Zero that this is a game changer because you can know every statistics you need about trading. As you
Mm-hmm.
said, trading is a marathon. You have to be here into the long run, and it doesn't make sense to gamble your trading account. And in Darwin Zero, you really can have the bigger picture of your statistics, your performances. So I encourage everyone which is interested in trading to go to Darwin Zero because the entry cost is really low. and you can really understand more your process, understand more your performances. And in the long run, all you need about your trading is data. You need data, you need to understand your profit reward, how many trades you take, how long. And if you can see your equity curve, if you can have the maximum of statistics, because Darwinex, it has the most impressive analysis of a trading account. You really have everything you need to know about your statistics. And also, you can have great statistics on FTMO, opening a demo account, a free trial.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
this free trial lasts 2 weeks. And also you'll have your equity curve, a lot of statistics, and you have to journalize and you have to know these statistics to improve if you want to improve your trading game. And to answer your question, yes, I specifically designed this system to fit into the 5% drawdown of FTMO.
Oh, okay,
So I
cool.
was first founded into this 2025. I was really happy to finally have an allocation because I've failed a lot of challenges along the years. It
Mm-hmm.
cost me a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I was funded on a 50K account and
Mm-hmm.
took a little more than 9,000 euros, 9,000, 10,000 euros during this month. But
Oh, and
as
payouts.
soon in payouts, yes.
Awesome. Awesome. Awesome.
Mhm. Yes, that's a great result.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But as soon as Trump came in April with
Okay.
his tariffs,
Okay.
with my payouts, I was making a 200K challenge. I've passed the first phase, so I was the happier man on earth. I had my
Okay.
50K allocation and a 2000 K challenge passed with phase one, and phase two is almost easy.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Mm-hmm.
just let two lots position open during the weekend or in over a week. And we had the biggest gap in Dow Jones since I traded.
Okay. Okay. So
More
which
than
date was that? Was it in
was
April?
the 4th, April the 4th.
Oh,
Mm,
okay. Okay. That was a
yeah,
massive.
during
Okay.
the
Yeah.
over week. So when the market opened again, I had this massive gap and I was out from these two accounts instantly. It was a huge
Mm-hmm.
setback. Psychologically, it was really hard. But it is what it is, and I just have to get back. And I know it's possible, and my system works. So it's a challenge also because trading isn't always about winning. We think that everyone's winning online, but
Yeah.
the reality of trading, we lose a lot too.
Yeah. And you already took out 9K, so you can
Hmm.
like buy, I don't know, 20, 30 challenges with the profits. So your net very,
Exactly.
very positive, which is the most important thing at the end of the day. Also, something that I
Hmm.
recommend, you can be more aggressive with your risk on prop firms because it's such a short-term game with prop firms. But on Darwinex, I suggest sticking to the risk rules because
Hmm.
it's a long-term focus. Um, so yeah, you're focusing on FTMO, right?
Yes, and
Mm-hmm.
at the same time, it gave me a lesson. So I told to myself that's the good moment to have some distance and trying to develop a new system. So from the day I lost these two accounts, well, my funded account and the phase two challenge on the 200K, I
Mm-hmm.
thought to myself, okay, why not develop a full automated system, full automated solution?
Yep.
So I bought myself a new VPS, virtual private server, where I'm
Okay.
running eight different accounts with different parameters, but the same philosophy, and see which one will end up losing the most during the
Okay.
next the next month. And I will pick this one to try to optimize this system, this specific system,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
for my fail to gain strategy, but in fully automated
Ah,
this
okay.
time.
So you'll do the exact opposite of what the
Mhm.
worst system is doing, right?
That's it.
Okay, nice. Cool, cool.
I can say that I'm my own bbook broker.
Yeah, yeah, that's smart. And so I forgot to ask you, is trading currently your main source of income, or do you
Mhm.
like work full-time, part-time? And also, what would you recommend in your experience for people that want to go full-time? Something that I always say is
Mhm.
if you make trading your full-time income, your psychology needs to be like on the highest possible level because even the traders that real prop firms, they get a monthly salary. So even when they have a losing week or a losing month, they still get a monthly salary to cover the expenses. So if
Mhm.
you could maybe talk a little bit about that.
Uh, I've done it. That's not the best solution because when you are at work, you always have this, okay, how is my trade running? So I would
Mm-hmm.
recommend swing trading. If you still have an income and you're working, go learning swing trading and keep positions 2 weeks, 4 weeks, so that you can
Mm-hmm.
see
Mm-hmm.
if you're in stop loss, it will make 1 week to hit your stop loss. If you're on a gain and let's say you have positive swap, just keep your position for 2 months and take your profit back.
Yeah.
Personally, I don't work anymore, so I'm
Mm-hmm.
only focused on trading. I moved to another place.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe that wasn't the best decision because I'm into a new environment and I lost my um, I always had the same day, the same routine. And since
Mm-hmm.
this day, maybe it's Trump and the change of nature of the markets. Maybe it's me. Maybe it's the losing my accounts. But I feel that my trading isn't the same. So you have to be really prepared to uh, before changing. So you have to keep a good amount of money, 3 months, 4 months, six
Yeah.
months
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
expenses.
Yeah.
And from then you can be quiet with your mind. But uh, I will recommend learning swing trading, keeping your work, your income, and
Yep.
most of all, having a peace of mind. Whatever you're making, that you're quiet with your mind and you're okay with that.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, well, you've been doing this from 2018, so you kind of know how the game goes, but a lot of beginners, they aim to quit their job in the first few
Hmm.
months or in the first year or in the first 2 years, and it's just completely unrealistic for a newbie to come in and the
Hmm.
psychological pressure of like needing to make money every month, they're just not ready for it. So I like your advice about swing trading and keeping the job. I think that works great for beginners. And so, what are some of your hobbies and interests out of trading? What do you like to do during the day to maybe
Hmm.
take your mind off the charts, to reset?
I don't take my mind off the charts.
Okay.
That's my life. I really enjoy looking at the charts. I really enjoy
Mm-hmm.
reading. I'm in a lot of Telegram groups, a lot of
Okay.
different
Mm-hmm.
communities. I'm also
Mm-hmm.
into private communities about automated trading. So I'm reading each day hundreds of messages. I'm in
Mm-hmm.
a lot of groups, and it gives me an aperture about how they're working. But trading at the moment, I am 100% focused on that. Apart of this, I really do like technology, new technologies. I am
Mm-hmm.
amazed about
Mm-hmm.
how it is evolving, and I just want to know in 10 years what will we have about technology. So
Mm-hmm.
my
Mm-hmm.
main thing to technology is smartphones. I really do like to read about the ultimate ones, the chipsets, the difference between a high-end phone, a mid phone. So I really do like smartphones. And apart from that, I want to get in shape. I see my friends, my family, and we make dinner with family, and that's all. I'm 100% trading for the moment.
Cool, cool. Well, that's how it goes when you love trading. It's kind of all you think about. I know when I'm at the gym, I have a podcast running on my earphones because I get
Hmm.
like macroeconomic updates on there. So when you really love trading, you kind of want to be in trading for 24/7. And also talking about technology, I just saw the Apple's newest update. Like they redesigned the
Hmm.
software and it looks like shit, to be honest. So that's pretty funny.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it looks really bad. So, but anyway, so what are some of your plans and goals for the future? It's obviously to gain more funding, but do you have maybe like a roadmap of where you want to
Hmm.
be in the next 5 to 10 years?
Yes, completely. Uh, Again, I will say that for what you said about Apple, Apple still copying Android from years
Okay. Yeah.
with the widgets and the possibility of personalization. But I'm a huge
Uh-huh.
Android user, and
Okay.
for my future, my best position to the Darwinex Zero was 22, and at a moment I was in the 12th position. So I want to enter in the
Nice.
top
Nice.
1% of the 1%. So this
Uh-huh.
place is the eighth, number eight. I'm aiming to be number 8 at Darwinex 0. I know I can do it. So I just have to get back and do what I know. The second one would be to create my own PAMM, my PAM account
Okay.
on a
Mm-hmm.
broker which is named FP Markets. So I can propose it to friends or families or a private community.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
the other objective is to have the max allocation and FTMO and begin to be part of the premium program. If you can be in the game with 4 months of perpetual payouts, and
Yeah.
then
Mm-hmm.
having 25 more percents of your allocation each quarter. So that's
Mm-hmm.
my main goal, to have the 400,000 euro dollar allocation on FTMO.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So it's like your main goal is to build some sort of a hedge fund and then to grow it in many different ways. Let's say through FTMO, through
Mm-hmm.
Darwinex, through a PAM account that you mentioned. And so are you looking to maybe get a colleague in the future to help you with everything, or are you good like solo?
I think I'm good as solo,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because I had a really clear path in my mind. I know I can walk through it, but maybe my manner of doing things isn't fitting everyone's point of view.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Mm-hmm.
have this clear path, and maybe sometimes I know I have to be really hard or really quick or take maybe a hard decision because it will fit my plan. But I don't know. Maybe if the right person comes in and says to me, Kevin, maybe
Mm-hmm.
you should just chill, chill out.
Yeah.
Let's have a reflection about that. And maybe you
Uh-huh.
should do this a little bit different. I don't know. My
Mm-hmm.
own personal goal is the max allocation and be number 8 on Darwinex. From there, I will be doing really great in life and have the
Yep.
time to have think more reflections about that.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, I know one thing. Do you know about THA? That's the top guy on Darwinex.
Yeah, Travis.
I think he started solo, and then as he gained more funds, I think he has around 25 million right now. He
Mhm,
started hiring like people, assistants to help him gather all of the fundamental data. So like as the funds grow, uh, I think you start to get a lot more work that you don't really want to be doing, and then you need to
mhm,
hire sort of assistants and researchers that can do all the research for you, which can take which can free up your time. So yeah, I
mhm.
thought that was pretty interesting that I read up for the THA guy who is doing really well. And so
Yes, that's impressive.
yeah, he's like
Because they are working in a very specific manner of analyzing the data, having a small team, but a really powerful one, which they know exactly how to analyze the market, and they are number one. So
yeah,
it's
their edge is
perfect.
really it's really interesting. They do like central bank decisions and then they read into the text and they notice something in the text that pretty much no one else noticed and they
Mhm.
execute their position according to that. And so what would you say is like your main advice for new traders?
I have a lot. I made a
Okay?
list.
You made a list. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I made a list because there are some things I've heard a lot of times, and the only manner to learn them was to fail. So I know
Mm-hmm.
that if you're beginning in trading and listening to this podcast, maybe you tell yourself that's not really useful, but this is my personal list. First of all, you have to know the statistics on the long run. After 1 year of doing trading, almost 50% of the people have already given up.
Yep.
So after 3 years, we are less of 15% of the total of persons which wanted to go trading, but they didn't have the courage or the dedication on the long run. And I can let you imagine the percentage after 5 years. It is very low. So imagine yourself taking a career at the university. You can know everything about trading in 2 years. And if you are really good, the market will change. In one case or another,
Mm-hmm.
you have
Mm-hmm.
to be aware of the statistics that very, very few people are here after 5 years.
Yep.
The second advice I would give to you, you have to become the best loser. Best loser wins. So you have to be really okay taking stop losses. You will take a lot. but you have to stay away from revenge trading. So be the best loser, and you'll see that you'll be a really great winner. You have to take stop losses. You can't learn skateboarding without falling a lot of times. And the best people who are making skateboarding, they failed more than anyone else, and that's why they're here, because they don't fear falling more, and they know how to fall. So
Mm-hmm.
that would be the second advice. The third one would be trend is your friend. We always see, oh, it went down so much. This is the bottom. I'm entering. And there is a trader, Tom Hugart, who said, don't be afraid to buy something that already went high or short something which has fallen hard. Because in 80% of the cases, the trend will continue.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we don't have always to pick the perfect bottom or the perfect top.
Yeah.
Uh, Another thing, pick a good formation. You have to have a formation. You have to trust someone. So make a good comparison of all the formations you can have and invest in it. So for example, for instance, in France, formations are about €1,000. Uh, just pay for it. You will gain a lot of knowledge, but take the time, 2 months, 3 months to see the results and be sure that you're going to the right community. Another advice is when in doubt, zoom out. So we tend to go like this, M5, M1, M15, and to spot the little waves, but sometimes you just have to see the movement of the ocean and see, okay, this is the real wave. Those aren't waves. So when in doubt, zoom out. Look at the H1, the H4, and just chill and see how the candlesticks are forming themselves. And you also have to know perfectly your candlestick patterns. Know the patterns, know how to read a candle. So you have to know that an H1 is for M15. So know perfectly the candles pattern, because not all patterns are equivalent. You have to know and to read the candles. You have to know how to read them.
Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah, that's some definitely great advice. And I like what you said about let's say buying the highs and selling the lows. Sometimes it is the right decision. And yeah, that's something that most people like to fade the trend. They like to sell a huge uptrend and they like
Mhm.
to buy the huge downtrend. I don't know why, but they just like to do it and then they lose a lot of money. So yeah, trend is definitely your friend. And where can people find you if they want to connect with you?
Mhm.
Maybe Instagram, LinkedIn. So I can put your links in the description of the video, but you can also say them here.
Great. Yes, I have an email which
Okay.
we can put
Mm-hmm.
into the caption. It is info at
Mm-hmm.
Negus Point Solutions. And I also have a Telegram profile. You
Okay.
can find me as Kevin.Asim.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to get in touch, you can send me on Telegram, or I will monitor the emails also. It would be a great pleasure to exchange and see if someone wants to talk.
Great. I'll put the links in the description. Thank you very much, Kevin. This was an awesome conversation.
Thanks to
Your
you,
trading
Marco.
edge is really interesting, like fading a losing strategy or doing the opposite of a losing strategy. I really like that concept. So good luck with your accounts. Good luck with Darwinex, FTMO, the PAM
Thank you.
account as well. And yeah, hopefully we will talk in a few months and get an update on your trading. So thank you guys very much for watching and see you in the next video. So goodbye.
Goodbye. Thank you, Marco.